RocSports. I'm back with another video. And man, it's finally here. NBA season is here. Tip-off is in the hour. I'm excited. The main reason why is because I'm a Bulls fan. Let me just say that right now. I'm a Bulls fan, and we back. Am I saying that the Bulls are contenders? Absolutely not. I'm not saying that at all. But the Bulls are for sure back relevant. And I think even Bulls haters can agree on that. But in this video, I'm going to give my overall season predictions from 1 through 8 seeds to MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, all the awards, everything. I'm giving my predictions. Let's get right to it. So I'm going to just get right to it. If y'all hear any noise outside, that's people working outside. We got to get this video out, though. So just bear with me. But we about to get right to it. So first thing first, obviously we had a lot of off-season moves on both sides of the conference. The biggest moves, obviously you think of Russ going to the Lakers, Melo signing with the Lakers, Lonzo Ball, DeRozan coming to the Bulls along with Caruso, Kyrie drama, Ben Simmons drama. It's a lot going on, man, as it always is with the NBA. It's always drama and headlines. But playoff predictions, let's get right to it. So I'm gonna go in the East first, and I'm gonna do my top 8. But I think for both sides though, I'm gonna give who I think gonna battle it out for the last 2, like 8 or 9, like who I think is gonna flip flop. So let's start with the East. Like I said, I got everything already wrote down. So let's get right to it. So for the 8th seed in the East, I'm going with the Hornets, or I'm gonna go with the Knicks. I slightly favor the Knicks just because they was there last year. You know, experience, they have more experience than the Hornets, etc. I think they deeper too. At 7, I'm going with Philly. Now this may shock a lot of people because Philly was the #1 seed last year. But Philly's just, to me, I think that it was just teetering. Like the past couple seasons, even though they was the #1 seed last year, I think that they was always teetering since Jimmy left. And man, if Jimmy was here right now, this would really be a mess with Ben Simmons, with his personality. But yeah, so I think they're gonna take a step back because of the whole Ben Simmons saga, regardless if he play or don't play. Because if he plays, it's not gonna be the same for obvious reasons. And if he doesn't play, he's not there. But then if they trade him, you're obviously not going to get max value for him. So it's like the 76ers are just in a lose-lose situation, if you ask me. So I think they're going to be the 7th seed. I think Boston will be the 6th seed. And yeah, as long as they stay healthy, I think Boston will be okay. I like the moves of them picking up Dennis Schroeder. I think that he'd be more beneficial for that team than Kemba was. Just off the fact of him being healthy and his experience as well, I think he'd do wonders for Boston. And then I'm going with Atlanta for the 5th seed. Now, some people may have Atlanta as the 3rd or 4th team, but to me, I think that they snuck up on teams last year. So I think teams will be more prepared for them. They are definitely talented. They have one of the best, if not the best, young core in the league. But obviously, you need more to win with that. They do have some veteran leadership, obviously. But I just think, honestly, I think they have too much talent, the Hawks. And I think it's going to stunt a lot of their young players' growth. So I think they should make a couple trades to get some more veterans in them, if you ask me. But I still think that they're going to be a very, very, solid team. And on nights, they can beat anybody. But as a typical young team, they still going to, have their ebbs and flows. So I got them as the 5th seed. And then as the 4th seed, I got the Bulls. I got the Bulls coming in the 4th seed. I think people sleeping on the Bulls, man. I'm going to just say it straight up. I think people sleeping on the Bulls. And people keep talking about the Bulls defensively. I don't know if it's just because undersized or if they just talking about strictly because of DeRozan, Vucevic, and Levine. But Zach can actually play defense. And I think that he will take that step this year of actually playing more defense because he have more scores. He don't have to score as much. So I think the Bulls are going to be very, very, very good. And I think they're going to be very exciting to watch. And I think they're just a top 4 team, man. They deep at every position, except for, you could argue, the 4. But I'm liking where the Bulls at. I think that they're the 4th best team. And if they are, again, a top 10 or a top 15 type defense, they're going to really be scary. Nobody's going to want to play them because they're going to be able to put up points for sure. So I got the Bulls at 4. At 3, I got Miami. I got the Heat. I love what the Heat done this offseason. Adding Kyle Lowry, I think that's huge. I think that's obviously they lost Goran Dragic to get Kyle Lowry, but I think that Kyle Lowry is better. And the experience that he bring, the toughness that he bring to Miami, I think that's just a perfect fit. Him and Jimmy with Bam. If Tyler Herro, I think he's the key. He's the X factor to this team. If Tyler Herro can step up and be what we seen, even half or 70% of what we seen from him in the bubble, Miami is going to be a very tough out. They're going to be good defensively just off back. And yeah, as long as they stay healthy. For anybody, as long as they stay healthy, obviously. But I like Miami team. And then the top 2, I don't think nobody's going to argue the top 2. I have Brooklyn as number 2. I will have them 1, but with the whole Kyrie drama, I don't know. I don't know how that's going to play out. So you never know with Kyrie. So I'm not even going to sit up here and try to predict how that's going to play out. So I had them at 2. And then number 1, I got the defending champs, man, the Bucks. I think the Bucks are, they know they will. Like that's a very good cohesive unit. They close. They got a year now with each other, and they got the ring. They got the experience. I think they ready to go, man. I think they're gonna pick up right where they left off. That don't mean that they're gonna win it, but I think it's gonna, come right back down to Milwaukee and Brooklyn in the playoffs. So yeah, that's my East predictions in terms of entering the playoffs. We get to the playoffs later, but let's go over to the West now. All right, so now we on to the West. And we're going to get right to it. I'm not going to waste y'all time. So, for the 8th seed, I got... Now, this one was a little bit more... I have a little bit more confidence on this side, so to say. So, for the 8th seed, I'm going with Portland TrailBlazers. I think that Portland has reached its peak in terms of... they're going to consistently be 4 through 8. We're making the playoffs and get bounced in the first and second round, mostly the first round. So, yeah, I got Portland still inching in there, squeaking in there, unless, who obviously trades alter everything. So, assuming with the roster that they have, I just think that that'd be enough to just get in. And then I got the Clippers. This one was tricky because I got Dallas at 6 and I got the Clippers at 7. So I really was going to flip-flop those two, but I'm going to stick with the Clippers at 7 just because without Kawhi, I think that they still going to, be competitive and be a winning team, but, not a contender until Kawhi comes back. So I think they still make the playoffs, but I'm going to have them at the 7th seed. 6th seed, I got Dallas. Now, I wish Dallas would have made some more moves for Luka, but I think Porzingis is back to being Porzingis. I think he's happy now, and I think that they... I think that they may have the same record or similar record from the past few seasons, but I think that they're going to be better in the playoffs. I think they're going to actually win the playoff series this year. So I got them at 6, and then I'm going to go with Golden State at 5. I got Golden State at 5, and if Klay was healthy starting the season, I would have had them obviously higher. But Klay don't come back into January, I think, so I'm going to have the Warriors, getting back to... I love what the Warriors did this offseason. Adding Otto Porter. Obviously, they drafted 2 great rookies. Wiseman, hopefully he can stay healthy entering his 2nd year. That's going to be huge. And, yeah, I think they're going to be right back, right to where they're supposed to be. So, yeah, I said Golden State at 5. So, for 4, it gets tricky now. So, for 4, you could easily flip-flop 3 and 4, but I'm going to say... Denver is going to be 4. And I will have them 3, but I'm going to just go with Denver being 4 because they are a very, very, very deep, talented team. But because I don't think Jamal Murray is going to be, back right now, I think they're going to lose a couple of games. But once he comes back, they're going to be rocking and rolling. I love Denver's team. And Michael Porter Jr., without Jamal Murray starting the season, look out. So I think that this is going to be a breakout year for Michael Porter Jr. And then 3, I'm going with Phoenix. Now, I think Phoenix snuck up on some teams last year. I don't think they're going to be as good as they were last year in the playoffs. I think they would have lost. They would have lost last year if the Lakers and Clippers were healthy. They would have lost. If the Lakers, either one of them, if they was healthy, they would have lost. That's just my opinion. But especially with his rumors about DeAndre Ayton being, hurt. I mean, not hurt, but upset with front office and things like that. So that's just distractions. But along with Chris Paul's leadership and, you know, them adding JaVale McGee, and they made some good moves, I'm going to have them coming right back at the 3 spot. And then 2, I'm going with Utah. Utah was a very good team last year. Pretty much the same team. So that's another good cohesive unit. They know each other. Probably the best defensive team other than the Bucks in the league. And yeah, I really like their team. They just a bunch of veterans, man. So they're gonna be right there in the thick of things. But in terms of long-term regular season, I think they're gonna be very good. But in the playoffs, I think they could be had. And then number 1, it's the Lakers, bro. Like, I don't see nobody beating the Lakers in the West, honestly. I'm gonna just say that right now. Now, the Lakers are very, very, very intriguing for me because I do think they're going to be very good in the regular season just for obvious reasons, talent alone. But come postseason, I have my questions, man. Just with Russell being at the point guard, even if he's not playing point, if he's off ball, that's even more questions for me, you know? So it's going to be very interesting to see how they mesh in terms of LeBron and Russ mainly. But, you know, the whole team, they got a lot of older guys, so their health is obviously a concern. But if they healthy, I see them rocking and rolling. Typical LeBron team, they may start off shaky, you know, 14-9, something like that, or 14-8, then they just take off, you know. So I could see that happening. And then, yeah, let's get right to the playoff. But before we even do playoff predictions, I want to do my my awards. MVP. It's a tough one, as it is every year. But I'm going to go out on a limb. And when I say on a limb, I'm going to step out on a limb, not by name, but because of seed. So you don't usually see teams under the 4th seed, like a player from a team under the 4th seed winning MVP. But because of his hype and because of his production, I'm going to go with Luka Doncic as winning the MVP. He's entering his 3rd year now. Or what was this, his 4th year? No, this is his 3rd year. And I think everybody knows Luka's the real deal. And it was a matter of time before he started winning MVP. So I think that this is his time. I think his numbers are going to be incredible. He's going to average close to a triple-double. I'm going to say something like 29, maybe even 30. 29, 9, and 10, something like that. And I think he won the MVP. Rookie of the year. I'm going with Jalen Green, man. I love Cade Cunningham. I love Jalen Green. Evan Mobley, all of these guys. I love this draft class. This is a very, very, very good draft class, top to bottom. It's one of the best that we had coming into the league, and then the league is just growing, man, every year. As I said numerous times, the NBA and NFL is in such good hands, man. Boxing too, but in terms of the NBA, so much young talent. So yeah, I'm going with Luka for MVP. Rookie of the year, I'm going with Jalen Green. Defensive player of the year, I'm going with Anthony Davis. I think the Lakers are going to be with their size and all their length. I think they're going to be very good defensively, as they were the year they won the championship. And I think that AD is going to be healthy. I like the way he bulked up and added some weight this offseason. And I think that this is his year to win Defensive Player of the Year. I don't think Rudy Gobert is going to get it again, or Draymond, or Giannis. You know, the typical names we've been seeing. I think this AD's time to, you know, finally add that to his resume. Coach of the Year, Billy Donovan. Nah, but if I'm being honest, Coach of the Year, it really may be Billy Donovan. Just because the Bulls didn't make the playoffs the past couple of years, and I have them being the top 4 seed. So obviously, you can pick a top 2 coach from each conference. But that's so typical, man. Everybody expecting the Bucks and the Nets to be 1 and 2, however you have them. And everybody expect, for the most part, the Lakers to be 1. And Utah, Phoenix, the top 3. So I'm not having none of those coaches that's winning it. I'm having Billy Donovan. Yeah, I'm just going to go with Billy Donovan, man. I'm going with Billy Donovan to win Coach of the Year. 6th Man of the Year. Ooh, this is tough. 6th Man of the Year. We're going to come back to 6th Man of the Year. Give me a second on that. Most improved player, I'm going with Michael Porter Jr., without question. I think without Jamal Murray this first half of the year, or however long he's going to be out, I think that this is huge, man, for Michael Porter Jr. Michael Porter Jr. was somebody who I wanted the Bulls to get way back then. I knew who he was in high school. I knew what he was about. I didn't care about his injuries or none of that. That's just a talent. With his size and talent, they don't grow on trees like that. So Michael Porter Jr. is going to have a breakout year. He's going to be one of the stars of the NBA for sure. And then so back to 6 men of the year. This is such a tricky call because I don't know in recent years have they ever gave 6 men of the year to a team that was like the bottom 4 of a playoff prediction, meaning like a bottom like 4 through 8, or is it always like 1 through 4 in a sense? So Jordan Clarkson last year, I don't know. I'm gonna go with. This is tough, man. This is tough. I think this is the toughest one on here for me, 6 men of the year, because you always have new candidates every year too, as well as most improved player. But I'm gonna go with Derrick Rose. Scratch that. I just went down and went over the rosters again, and I'm not going with Derrick Rose, mainly because I don't think the Knicks is going to be as good. So I'm gonna change my pick from 6 men of the year, and I'm going with Patty Mills. I think Patty Mills is a veteran who is going to get big minutes. He's been there, obviously, with the absence of Kyrie, and they can easily have Patty Mills at the 1, with really playing off ball in a sense, and then have James and Joe Harris and KD at the 4. So I think Patty Mills is going to be huge, especially clutch. Those shots that Joe Harris missed in the playoffs, those are going to be shots that Patty Mills is going to get, and he's going to hit that. He's going to hit those shots. He's been there and done that. He's been in those moments. The lights was clearly too bright for Joe Harris. So I hope hopefully he can have a bounce back year for Brooklyn fans' sake. But I'm going with Patty Mills. Dark horse, Tyler Herro, and Derrick Rose. I think Tyler Herro is tired of the chatter. Like, I think he's tired of talking, and I think that he's heard all the talk in terms that he's not that good, and as he think he is. So I think that he's going to be motivated, and I think with the Heat veterans and stuff, I think they're going to push him, and I think he's going to get back to, I'm not saying the way he was in the bubble, but I think he's going to be good. So, but I'm still going to I'm going to get a slight edge to Patty Mills. And then most improved player, I said, yeah, so that's everything. So now let's get into these all NBA teams, and yeah. So for all NBA teams, first team all NBA, I'm gonna go with at the point guard position, I'm going with Steph Curry. And then I'm gonna go with Luka Doncic. And then I'm gonna go with LeBron, KD. Ooh. And then it's tough for the 5 because you got Yoke, you got AD, and you got Embiid. But I'm going to go with Jokic just because I think Jokic will have, although the numbers may be similar in terms of Embiid and Jokic, I think Jokic's team is going to be better, so he's just going to naturally get the slight edge. So I'm going with Jokic for the starting center for first team. Second team, I'm going to go with James Harden, Devin Booker, Giannis, Anthony Davis, and Joel Embiid. That's going to be my second team. And then third team, I'm going to go with Chris Paul. Ooh. Man, this is tough. This is tough. Chris Paul, Damian Lillard, Jimmy Butler. Ooh, this is tough. Last 2 spots for my forward and center. I'm gonna go out on a limb for center. I'm gonna say Bam, because I think the Heat is going to be very good defensively. Bam is a dark horse for defensive player of the year too. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Bam as the center, and for the 4th spot, it's tough. For that fourth spot, for my last fourth spot, I'm gonna go with Jason Tatum. So clearly, as it is every year, you have so many players left out. And a lot of the Utah fans are going to be upset with me because I haven't given Utah no love in this video. Obviously, Donovan Mitchell could easily, he's an MVP candidate on my list. I just don't have him winning it. But Donovan Mitchell, Trae Young, Devin Booker, Paul George, there's a lot of talented players, man, that's going to get left off. Rudy Gobert. But this is just, I'm going to go out on a limb, man. I'm not going to pick your same typical people that you see from everywhere. That's just what I'm going with. So I'm going to go more in depth in terms of playoff predictions and all of that when, you know, we have a little bit more data to read on these teams and stuff, because obviously things are going to change. Injuries are going to happen. It's just a part of the sports. So, but yeah, those are my predictions. And then, so let's just get right into the conference finals. Conference finals, I'm going with Milwaukee and Brooklyn. No surprise. And I'm going with Milwaukee, because I don't think Kyrie's on. If Kyrie's there, I'm going with Brooklyn. If no Kyrie and this is their roster with just Kyrie on the roster but not physically there, and I'm going with Milwaukee. But so Kyrie's not here right now, so I'm going to take Milwaukee. So Milwaukee is going back to the finals for me, and then for the Western Conference Finals, the Lakers and whoever else, it doesn't even matter. I don't think that none of those teams are going to be on the Lakers level in the playoffs. And I think the Lakers' problems are going to really be exposed come the finals, even if they play the Bucks. But, yeah. So I'm going to go with the Lakers, and I'm going to go with Utah. Let's give Utah some love. I will go with the Clippers, but it's a question mark with Kawhi's health. So I'm going with the Lakers and Utah Jazz for the Western Conference Finals, and Brooklyn and Milwaukee for the Eastern Conference Finals. And I got the Lakers and Milwaukee advancing, and I'm going with Milwaukee, man, to repeat. And again, if Kyrie's there, then I'm picking Brooklyn to repeat. I just think that the Lakers' problems in terms of with their roster, I think is going to really show only when they play the Bucks and the Nets. So whoever come out of the East between those two, which I think is going to be most likely those two teams, I think they're going to beat the Lakers. It's going to be a hell of a series, but I think they're going to beat the Lakers. I will want to see anybody beat Brooklyn, because I just don't like Brooklyn and how they move. I just don't like Brooklyn. But without being biased or, you know, cutting everything out aside, that's what I think. So, yeah, man, I'm excited. NBA season is here. Bulls Nation, again, we back. And, yeah, so the season starts tomorrow for the Bulls. We got Detroit. We about to tax that. But, and we got kickoff here in like 40 minutes. We got Milwaukee and Brooklyn, my finals preview. And then we got Golden State, which Golden State could be there. If Clay comes back being Clay, Golden State is the biggest X Factor team overall to me. Because even if Kawhi comes back healthy and Clay comes back healthy, I still get a slight edge to Golden State. Yeah, I get a slight edge to Golden State. So, I would love to see Clay come back and beat Clay. But that's asking a lot for somebody that's been off multiple years now, coming off multiple injuries, serious injuries, on top of the malice that he already has on his body. But on the flip side of that, you can just say he's real rested. A shooter's not going to forget how to shoot. It's not like Clay was super athletic, but, you know, he's, well, should I say, it's not that his game was super, you know, dependent on athleticism. So, but in terms of defensively it is, but yeah. So, yeah, man, that's what it is. I'm going to be doing tons of NBA videos. I promise I will. And I'm excited, man. Let's go. RocSports, I'm checking out. All of my boxing, NFL, and NBA fans, like, share, and subscribe, man. Keep coming back. I'm going to be dropping more content.